We're here with head coach Zach Zedrick. Coach, he had a seventh place finish at the Colleton River Invitational last week. Patrick Flavin tied for fourth individually, won MAC Golfer of the Week. Can you talk about their performances?
Well, Pat played really solid golf for 2 days. Maybe didn't quite have his best stuff, but he did what really good players do. He took what he had and got the most out of it. For the most part, if he was missing it a little bit, he was missing it in good spots where he could get the ball up and down, and if he had opportunities to score, make a birdie, he'd do it. I know he was disappointed with his finish in the last round, made some bogeys coming in, and that took him from tying for first to tying for fourth. But as I told him, you're going to have a lot of opportunities, and that's what it's really about in this game, whether it's as a team or individually, is to just keep putting yourself in positions to win, and no matter what happens, you're going to learn something from it. As far as the team goes, honestly, it was pretty disappointing. I think if you look at how many birdies we made as a team, very much middle of the pack. So maybe we didn't quite have our best stuff to maybe win as a team, but we're more than capable to manage our mistakes and manage the rough stretches of holes and finish no worse than third. And we just didn't do the little things that you need to do. Kind of if you hit a bad shot, really limiting the damage, keeping it to a bogey, not giving away shots on holes where you could at least where birdie is somewhat probable. We just didn't do those little things, and those are the things that the really good teams do, and that's what separates the best from everyone else. So,
moving on now, it's to spring break is coming up next week, so the team is going to take advantage and participate in two different tournaments. The Lone Star Invitational in Texas next Monday and Tuesday, and then move on to Florida for the FAU Sloman Invitational that following weekend. Have you decided on a lineup for those tournaments?
We are we've got our lineup set for the first event, and it's the same lineup we had at Colleton River, and then we'll have Daniel Schwartz and Bailey Truesdell playing as individuals, and we'll take a look after Briggs Ranch, after the Lone Star, and see if we need to make a change. But we're excited. It's going to be a lot of golf, but the team's pretty amped up about it. The guys that are going are really excited. It's like I said, it's a lot of golf, but I think after Colleton River, that sense of urgency is really there now, and we could see it over the weekend. Even though the weather was not great both days, we were able to play some golf around here, and the guys made the most of it.
Great. First, can you tell me about the Lone Star Invitational? What kind of teams you'll be facing and what the course is like?
Yeah, it's a Tom Fazio designed golf course. So in play, and the fairways will be generous, but if you hit it offline, you're going to pay for it a little bit. Nothing too tricked up. It's going to be right there in front of you. I think it's a layout that the guys are really going to like. The fields, honestly, it's a mixed bag. We're going to see some other Midwestern schools. We're going to see some schools from down in Texas, teams that are ranked fairly high right now, and overall, it's a really solid field. So not a lot of tournaments down in Texas, especially as you get further into the spring. They're very regional type of fields where it's teams from Texas, it's teams from the South or the Southeast, but there's a pretty good mix, and it'll be a good field and a really good golf course, scoreable golf course, and something the guys are excited to get down there and get after.
Right. And then moving on to FAU Sloman Invitational, what's the course like there, and what's that field?
The field, a lot of Southern teams in that field. There are there are a few regional caliber teams that are going to be there, so it would be good to see some of those guys. And then the golf course, we've competed there twice previously. We've had two pretty good team finishes there. I think we finished around third or fourth both times. It's a big field. It should be, I think, 18 or 19 teams, so it's one of the larger fields we'll see. But golf course, it's right there in front of you. It's pretty standard. Florida golf as far as it's in kind of a living community and not a lot of elevation change. Chance the wind's going to be up, but a little bit of water, but nothing we haven't seen before. We have some pretty good local knowledge there, and I think we'll be. I know it. Like I said, the guys are itching and ready to go, so we'll be ready for both events.
Finally, with these 2 trips coming up back to back and the fact that it's spring break and you're actually not returning in between them, will you take this advantage to bond as a team as the MAC tournament gets closer?
Yeah, and that's what's great about the first part of our spring is we really try and play events where we can create a lot of camaraderie. So the first event we played, the match play event down in Florida, we stay on site. The guys all stay together in like a villa or a condo. They're getting up, they're cooking breakfast together, they're spending a lot of time together. We spend a lot of time together in the evenings, and it's the same way at Colleton River. We're very fortunate to when we go down there, be able to stay in a similar place, a large cottage that basically houses the entire team. And nights where maybe Coach McDonald and I will cook dinner and we'll hang out together, and the guys are just together a lot. And then obviously this is a 9-day trip that's coming up, and although it's going to be a little bit more typical in that we're staying in a hotel and meals, outside of meals we're kind of separated, just being together for that long and thinking back to my time as a player when we would take those long trips on spring break. It's definitely a time to bond, and as I've talked about a ton of times before, I'm a believer that golf's a team sport in college. So anytime we can take those opportunities and create more camaraderie and bonding, I think is better, and that's what we've done all spring long. So it'll be great.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.